Hokage, the strongest Uchiha from the sign in. Chapter 41. Here. Where is this? Grandpa, who are you? The three eyes met. Uchiha Obito looked confused. Just when the Sharingan touched the Sharingan, Uchiha Obito's Sharingan quietly changed, and the exquisite and complex Mangekyo turned the illusion into reality. The tailed beast chakra was mixed and compressed with a yin-yang ratio of 2:8, and condensed into a small tailed beast bomb in an instant, and instantly shot in front of Uchiha Madara. This is. The red light flashed, and in a short moment, a huge circular hole was instantly pierced through the chest. Smoke and dust rose up, and after a tremor like an earthquake, only Obito, who was confused, was stunned. What's wrong? What's wrong? Did I launch the attack just now? What's going on? Just when Obito was stunned, an extremely familiar voice echoed in the secret room. This is a parting gift. It's impolite to peek at others. Seniors with Sharingan, experience the care from the juniors. Goodbye. The voice lingered for a long time, and the blood-red eyes in Uchiha Madara's eyes turned slightly, and then completely lost their color. Just a grain of sand, not half as good as me, cough cough cough. Quote. The broken pipe behind him was connected to Uchiha Madara's back again, forcing Izanagi to use, making Madara's body, which was already on the verge of the limit, even more uncomfortable. Is this voice, Keigetsu? Is it really Keigetsu? Are you here to save me? Boy, don't shout, this is the Uchiha clan's transcription seal, which seals the pupil technique on people who also have Sharingan, and the sealing technique is automatically triggered after setting conditions. Although you are a kid, you can still have such a strong pupil power. Is the power just now, Mangekyo Sharingan? A hint of surprise appeared in the lifeless eyes. I didn't expect that among the descendants of the traitorous compatriots who betrayed themselves, there would be a person with Mangekyo. Madara-sama, it's this brat, it's this Uchiha Keigetsu who cut my arm. White Zetsu on the side was crying bitterly. Obito was still confused. Madara-sama. Is this old man also from the Uchiha clan? Is Madara his name? Without waiting for Obito to speak, White Zetsu's eyes suddenly became confused for a moment, and the black ink spit out of his mouth suddenly spread. The inner four-elephant seal. The remaining Sharingan flashed, and the black ink swallowed up White Zetsu together. After the inner four-elephant seal disappeared, Madara and White Zetsu reappeared. Kid, you are quite capable. Tailed Beast Bomb, the inner four-elephant seal, is not a seal, but a simple eye power. Is it Mangekyo's unique eye technique? When Madara lowered his head in thought, Obito, who had been confused for a long time, slowly raised his hand and asked awkwardly. Grandpa, are you also from the Uchiha clan? Who are you? That strange creature just called you Madara, is it really a coincidence? No, I am Uchiha Madara. It seems that among the people you know, there is an excellent kid who has opened the Mangekyo Sharingan and can use the transcription seal. What an amazing kid. It seems that someone doesn't want to get too close to you, Uchiha Keigetsu, your friend. Konoha Village, Uchiha Clan, Konoha Police Force Office. Chu, who is talking nonsense there? It's okay, Master Fugaku, you can continue, you may have caught a cold. Opposite Uchiha Keigetsu, the calm and capable captain of the Konoha Police Force, the head of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Fugaku, who has always maintained the relationship between the village and the Uchiha, looked serious. Uchiha Keigetsu, no matter how dissatisfied you are with the third Hokage, don't behave so impolitely in front of the Hokage-sama. Also, you must be present at the clan meeting tomorrow, or are you dissatisfied not only with the Hokage-sama, but also with the clan members? A pair of red eyes stared at him from behind, but Keigetsu brushed them off casually, not caring at all. Yes, there's nothing particularly important, so I'll leave first. Wait, come to my house later to have a simple meal together, I want to hear your opinion on this war. Keigetsu, who was about to leave, was slightly stunned, and nodded in agreement after a moment of silence. The disappearance of the pupil power in her eyes reminded Keigetsu that it was too late even if she rushed over now. After Keigetsu left, Uchiha Inahori turned around with a puzzled look. Why did the captain invite that arrogant brat? Since graduating from the ninja school, until he became Orochimaru's apprentice, this brat has not even participated in a clan meeting. Even if he has made many contributions in this war, even if he has the task of restraining the third Tsuchikage, this brat is too arrogant. Uchiha Ye and Uchiha Tiehuo nodded one after another. Fugaku kept silent and sighed in his heart. What arrogant behavior. It's obvious that he is waiting for a price. Since he became Orochimaru's apprentice, there are very few people in the village who can provoke him. In addition, he killed the 7 ninja swordsmen. The name of Shunshin Genjutsu has begun to spread on the battlefield. If he doesn't win over people's hearts, this kid's good impression of the clan will be close to nothing. Single quote. After 2 light coughs, Fugaku spoke and signaled everyone to be quiet. Calm down. Uchiha Keigetsu is also a member of the clan, and his strength and reputation are obvious to all. The strength of our clan comes from unity. Uchiha Keigetsu is still young. As long as he feels the warmth of the clan and the bond from the blood, he will definitely become the backbone of the Uchiha clan in the future. At the same time, Keigetsu, who rushed home quickly, did not know Fugaku's evaluation of him, because he was judging the state of Uchiha Madara by his own consumed pupil power. 2 chances, both did not work, so Izanagi's pupil technique perverted to an outrageous degree. However, the little Uchiha should have been shocked. The most critical thing has not been exposed for the time being, and the infiltration was successful. Thinking of this, Keigetsu's eyes revealed a faint expectation. In Ryochi Cave, you can sign in a fairy entry. If you run to the mountain cemetery, you must give a Gedo statue. As he was lost in thought, the sun quietly set in the west, and in the blink of an eye, the clouds on the horizon were coated with layers of gold powder. In the center of the Uchiha clan, Kazuki came to a spacious and bright courtyard, and couldn't help but sigh at the class gap. Excuse me, Master Fugaku asked me to come to him. Are you, Uchiha Kazuki? Welcome. The black-haired straight-haired wife in front of him smiled gently at him. Her gentle temperament and attitude made Kazuki nod in return and handed over the prepared souvenirs. Uchiha Makoto, a ninja-level jonin, is gentle to others and selfless. She is indeed a good woman. It's a pity that she gave birth to a filial son. Single quote. Entering the living room, Uchiha Fugaku has been waiting for a long time. The green tea is steaming hot. Kazuki was about to drink it, but Fugaku's words made him spit it out. Have you opened the Mangekyo Sharingan? Puff. Keigetsu coughed a few times, quickly put down the teacup, and asked in a confused manner. Mangekyo Sharingan. What is that? Another Sharingan. Fugaku narrowed his eyes slightly and introduced Keigetsu to himself. Mangekyo Sharingan is superior to 3-Tomo Sharingan, and has a pupil power far exceeding that of ordinary Sharingan. In the history of the Uchiha clan, only a few people were able to open their eyes. In the distant Sengoku era, due to war, a large amount of information about the Uchiha clan was lost, and there were few records about Mangekyo Sharingan. After saying that, he observed Keigetsu's expression without concealment. Seeing that he could not observe any useful information from her expression and attitude, Fugaku continued. What do you think of the current Uchiha clan? I want to hear your most honest opinion, whether it is objective or subjective. The Uchiha clan. Subjectively speaking, they are arrogant and impetuous. Objectively speaking, they hold power and look down on others. After all, they are a police force. Hearing what Uchiha Keigetsu said, Fugaku did not get angry, but he did not nod in agreement. The so-called police force is like this. Because they are responsible for the safety of the village, they will inevitably take actions that damage their image. I have even heard a little about the villagers' complaints about the police force. Keigetsu smiled but said nothing. If there is still a sober person in the current Uchiha clan, it is probably the police captain in front of him who is trying his best to maintain the relationship between the clan and the village. However, the hidden minds buried by the evil Senju old white-haired are not so far. His fear and attitude towards the Uchiha clan, no, Senju Tobarama's fear and attitude towards Uchiha Madara have also been completely inherited by the current Konoha F4. So, what do you think the Uchiha clan needs to change their current situation? Hearing this question, Kazuki was stunned. No less shocked than Fugaku was when he mentioned the news of Mangekyo Sharingan. Is there any other way to change the situation of the Uchiha clan besides overthrowing the village? The Konoha police force is different from the police force that Kazuki knew in her previous life. Although both are law enforcement agencies, the police force controlled by the Uchiha clan does not use the methods they are most familiar with. One is to create a positive image, and the other is to give each side 50 slaps, which is commonly known as muddying the waters. There is no positive and good image. The normal villagers in Konoha village and the civilians who are not from various famous families definitely do not have a very good impression of the Konoha police force. In addition, the unity of the Uchiha clan is a very difficult problem in the eyes of the third Hokage, who has always intended to integrate the village and give up sectarianism. When suspicions accumulated to the extreme, and the undercurrent was ignited by a sudden accident, the secret rejection was officially transformed into direct targeting. The Uchiha tribe members who were collectively driven out of the power center by the village, and were targeted openly or secretly, and could not see their own temperament. In addition, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, the only two geniuses in cage-level combat forces, one was fooled by Danzo and even lost an eye and then committed suicide, and the other directly started a filial life. In comparison, the head of the Uchiha clan in front of him, the captain of the Konoha police force, was a complete failure in both political means and parenting experience. Change. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. I don't know about this. Maybe when the new Hokage comes to power, the situation of Uchiha will improve. With a gentle smile, Waiyu answered perfunctorily, as if this was his opinion. Will the new Hokage come to power? Who do you think will be the outstanding Jonin who can become the fourth Hokage this time? Orochimaru Sensei, Namikaze Minato, will probably be chosen between these two. Are you also interested in participating in the competition for the fourth Hokage? Fugaku shook his head slowly. He couldn't compete with these two people, no matter his achievements or the support of the Jonin in the village. The most important thing is that the Konoha high-level officials will never support the existence of an Uchiha clan as Hokage. This is the current attitude of Konoha towards the Uchiha clan. Also, can we let the child outside the door in? He has been standing outside for so long. He is not as lively as ordinary children. It seems that he will become a good ninja in the future. Fugaku was startled, and then he remembered something and shouted to the outside. Itachi, don't eavesdrop on your father and the guests. The door slowly opened with a creak. The young Uchiha Itachi was silent and looked at Waiyu with curiosity. It doesn't matter. Is this the child of Master Fugaku? Uchiha Itachi, this child has talent and may become an excellent Konoha shinobi in the future. With a kind smile, Waiyu looked gentle. Makoto hurried out of the kitchen and apologized when he saw this scene. Sorry to bother you, Itachi, don't disturb daddy's conversation with the guests. Nothing, just a casual chat. She smiled at Makoto, and the inexplicable fragrance made her feel good about the child who was only 6 or 7 years older than Itachi. Keigetsu, right. What a cute child, don't be polite later, eat well to grow up healthily. The rich fragrance drifted from the kitchen to the living room. Makoto remembered something at this time and ran out in a panic. Oh, the stew in the kitchen. Seeing her hurried back in Itachi's curious face, Fugaku sighed helplessly and ended the tense topic just now. Put those annoying things aside and taste Makoto's craftsmanship. The fragrance gradually became stronger, and the carefully made stews and various dishes made people's appetites. Fugaku and Keigetsu tacitly forgot the previous conversation. When Keigetsu left, Fugaku looked at the gradually disappearing back with a solemn expression. That child seems to be a very polite child. I seem to have heard of Uchiha Keigetsu from somewhere. Makoto murmured to herself, thinking about something. Fugaku was silent for a moment and introduced his wife, who chose family and gave up the ninja career. Don't underestimate him. He is a real genius. He is only a few years older than Itachi, and his mastery of the Shunshin technique is not inferior to Namikaze Minato. The AB combination of the Kazekage advisor Chiyo, the 4th Raikage and the 8 Jinchuriki, not only can gain the upper hand in their fight, but also kill the 7 ninja swordsmen of Mist Shinobi in one fell swoop, and contain the 3rd Tsuchikage. He is a real genius. Whether he has opened the Sharingan or not, no one in the clan knows this. Hearing Fugaku's evaluation, Makoto was also quite shocked. After thinking for a while, he smiled Kaido. But, no matter how talented he is, isn't he still a child now? A child. I hope so. Suddenly, Fugaku looked up and saw an emergency communication eagle flying towards the Hokage office building from a distance. His originally peaceful expression became inexplicably solemn. Emergency military information. What happened on the front line? Single quote. Hokage office building, meeting room. The urgent intelligence that came in a hurry really gave Sarutobi Hiruzen a headache. Is it exposed again this time? As expected, the spy is in Konoha, and in the village. Who could it be? Who knows the village so well and has the ability to lurk in my study? The objects and motives of suspicion kept emerging in his mind, and then they were shattered again. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned, slowly put down the letter, and picked up the pen again to write. Send this letter to Shikaku. He will understand after reading it. Stabilize the emotions of the ninjas. Mist Shinobi's actions are definitely not that simple. Anbu Ninja, Shong, nodded and left. Looking at the empty study, Sarutobi Hiruzen closed his eyes to rest. Mist Shinobi's 7 ninja swordsmen were all killed, and the ninja swords were also seized by Uchiha Wyu. Mist Shinobi's revenge is definitely not just this. Who could it be? Single quote. The sun was about to set, the moon was dim, and the third Hokage, who was worried, had an extremely tormenting night. On the other side, at the home of Uchiha Kagetsu. The delicate and complex Mangekyo stared at the Book of Vermilion Moon in his hand, and the vague connection lasted for a long time. Why would the power of the eye technique react to the Book of Vermilion Moon? Could it be? The immortal mask gradually spread to the corners of his eyes, and the delicate and complex, dreamy Mangekyo spun wildly at this time. Bloom, Kyoka Suigetsu. Turning illusion into reality, or turning reality into illusion, this is the Mangekyo eye technique that Kagetsu believes can compete with the SSR-level Kamui eye technique. The Vermilion Moon technique in his hand slowly opened, invisible and formless, not chakra nor natural energy. The strange azure barrier is more similar to spiritual power, but not exactly the same. When another space is released from the Book of Vermilion Moon, all kinds of knowledge from another world are poured into the mind. So that's it. Can this thing only be opened with Kyoka Suigetsu? No wonder Black Nine Tails can only retract half of his body. He doesn't know how to use it. He has infused such a huge amount of chakra, and can barely turn his opposite. Blood drips, even in Sage mode. The large amount of pupil power consumed makes Wyu's cells all over his body ache, but the smile at the corner of his mouth soothes the pain at this moment. A lot of interesting knowledge. It seems that the static blood suit can be improved again. It is really difficult to call it a perfect work with only chakra and that low-level defensive technique. The ancient bamboo scroll disappeared between his fingers and fell into the inner world again. Wyu turned his head and looked in the direction of the Bear Country, raising his eyebrows. You've done a little too much, teacher Orochimaru. At the same time, in the Bear Country, the camp of Konoha. Master Shikaku, if we continue like this, we won't be able to hold out for much longer. The herbs and protective masks are all. The ninjas in the medical class were anxious, and Nara Shikaku was even more worried. The environment in the Bear Country was dangerous, with poisonous swamps and miasma everywhere. Even ninjas couldn't hold out without medical equipment. Report to Master Shikaku. We found traces of Mist Shinobi ninjas, and our base camp was discovered. The scouting ninjas who came in a hurry made Nara Shikaku even more confused. The location of the camp should be top secret. How could it be suddenly exposed? Could it be? Bayan is the leading ninja of the other side, a Mist Shinobi ninja with transplanted Byakugan. The sound of kunai hitting each other sounded outside the camp, and after a moment, it returned to silence again. Everyone hurried over, and the Mist Shinobi ninjas were all uninjured, and fainted strangely on the ground. Turning around, the boy holding a katana and his eye jade slightly turned, nodded slightly to everyone at this time. Uchiha Shisui. That's a big help. If we were invaded by these Mist Shinobi guys at this critical moment, things couldn't get any worse. After a long breath, Shisui's expression changed drastically and he turned around and said before Nara could sigh. Mr. Shikaku, someone is approaching. There are a lot of them, at least 100 or more, all of them are very elite ninjas. Everyone be on alert. The many ninjas still stationed in the camp were on full alert, and the hazy mist swept over and lasted for a long time. Who could it be? Who is the enemy this time? The 7 ninja swordsmen. No, The elite of Mist Shinobi should have been defeated by Uchiha Keigetsu in one fell swoop, and even the ninja swords that symbolized their status were taken away. Single quote. So, who is it? Single quote. At this moment, a slightly childish voice echoed, and figures hidden in the mist slowly appeared, and the petite figure in the lead looked surprised. Is it really here? I didn't expect that the information was true. I didn't expect the camp of Konoha to be hidden in such a place. The figure was short, but no one on the Konoha side dared to underestimate him, and Nara Shikaku was sweating on his forehead. Fourth Mizukage, Yagura. The burly figure beside him looked around, his sharp teeth rubbing against each other and sparks flying, and the watermelon mountain puffer ghost was full of anger. That kid, isn't Shunshin Genjutsu here? Where did he take our ninja sword? Tisk, isn't he on the battlefield against Mist Shinobi? The one here is another kid from the Uchiha clan, what should I do? Mizukage-sama. Biwa Juzo snorted coldly and looked at the Konoha shinobi with ill intentions. Kill them. Even if we kill them, there is no way to get back Mist Shinobi's 7 ninja swords. It's better to do this, Uchiha's little devil, bring Shunshin Wanyu to me. The result of this negotiation will determine your fate, understand? The words of the fourth Mizukage Yagura made the watermelon mountain puffer ghost smile. He couldn't wait to see how the little devil under the three-eyed demon fox mask knelt before him. Facing the road that only allowed him to pass, Uchiha Shisui's expression was tense, until he completely escaped from Mist Shinobi's encirclement, a stream of blood dripped from the corner of his eyes. Is this the limit of what I can do? Single quote. The next morning, Wanyu, who had not yet woken up from her sleep, was awakened by a series of rapid knocks on the door. What's wrong? You're disturbing me so early in the morning, annoying guys. When I pushed the door open, I saw a monkey-masked Anbu ninja moving anxiously, and when he saw Keigetsu appear, he hurriedly urged her. Uchiha Keigetsu, the Hokage has urgently summoned you, go to the Hokage office building immediately. So urgent. You've gone too far, Orochimaru-sensei. Single quote. When Keigetsu arrived at the Hokage office building, the Anbu people all looked over. Most of them looked indifferent, but there were still a few who looked reluctant. Why did you call me over so hastily? Third Hokage. Are you here already? Uchiha Keigetsu, I have an urgent mission for you now. Rescue the Konoha shinobi trapped in the hands of Mist Shinobi. The breeze was gentle and the sun was shining, but the atmosphere in the mission hall was cold, faintly dividing the sun and the shadow. Rescue. His face was full of surprise. Now is the war period. Even if the village's ninjas were captured by Mist Shinobi, at most they would be interrogated and analyzed for intelligence. What rescue? The other party is the fourth Mizukage, Yagura. This time I was able to negotiate thanks to you. The relief in Sarutobi Hiruzen's tone was noticed by Keigetsu, who immediately guessed and suddenly realized. Could it be that their goal is the ninja swords of the 7 ninja swordsmen? In addition to this matter, they may also take the opportunity to keep me and Mist Shinobi forever. Seeing Keigetsu lowering his head in thought, Sarutobi Hiruzen said frankly with a serious expression. We are also very clear about the danger level of this mission, but only you can do it now. The other party specifically allows only you to go. In addition, according to the ninja who escaped from the other party and reported back, there are 2 survivors among the 7 ninja swordsmen who are following the 4th Mizukage. Until then, Uchiha Keigetsu became interested and nodded again. I know, how did they avoid the flying thunder god slash? It really makes me curious, how many captured ninjas are there? Who is the priority target for rescue? Konoha's ninjas have no priority. If you can, rescue those children who are still young, and then Nara Shikaku. Do your best. Knocking on the table gently, the matter was settled. Just as Keigetsu was about to leave, a knock on the door interrupted his action. Excuse me, Hokage-sama. When several people entered the mission hall, the white eyes swept to the center. Behind the black cloak, the family crest of the flame fan made the head of the family elder look puzzled. Hyuga family. Seeing that the visitor was from the Hyuga clan, Sarutobi Hiruzen was also a little confused. Could it be that another member of the Hyuga clan fell into the hands of Mist Shinobi? Yes, in fact, our Hyuga clan wants to entrust the masters in the village to kill the Mist Shinobi Jonin who took away the precious bloodline limit of the Hyuga clan and bring back the Byakugan. Hyuga Hiyashi, who was following behind the Hyuga clan elder, nodded slightly, while the last of the three, the current leader of the Hyuga branch house, Hyuga Hazashi, was stunned at this time. Three-eyed demon fox mask, black cloak, a figure without a sense of existence and a temperament that was so illusory that it seemed to be non-existent. There is no doubt that the ninja in front of him is the mysterious ninja who asked him what he wanted to be that night. You're just in time. This is Uchiha Kagetsu, a ninja who is equally skilled in flying thunder god technique as Minato. He is about to go to Mist Shinobi for a rescue mission. You can tell him in detail about the ninja who took the Byakugan. He is an expert at taking away all 7 ninja swords of the 7 ninja swordsmen. After that, Sarutobi Hiruzen walked out slowly, his eyes swept over Orochimaru who was leaning against the wall, his tone solemn. Last night, Anbu found traces of some animals crawling on the ceiling of the study. It's best if this matter has nothing to do with you, my disciple. The back figure gradually disappeared at the end of the corridor. Orochimaru smiled but said nothing. The old man's enthusiasm and vigilance were much stronger than he expected. At the same time, in the mission hall, the elder of the Hyuga family bowed slightly. The three people had complicated expressions, and their hearts were full of doubts. They couldn't help but flash a trace of suspicion. Can this child really save the captured ninjas from Mist Shinobi? Even if the third Hokage said it himself, it was a little hard to believe. The doubts in the eyes of the Hyuga elders and Hyuga Hiyashi have not disappeared yet, while Hyuga Hazashi looks worried, vaguely recalling what happened that day in his mind. After the third Hokage left, the Hyuga clan elder turned to Kazuki and ordered, not knowing whether he was pampered or used to giving orders. Take the life of Mist Shinobi Jonin and take back the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan. This is the order of our Hyuga clan and the third Hokage. You. Without waiting for the Hyuga clan elder to continue, Kazuki smiled brightly. I refuse. Refuse. Why refuse? Isn't it the duty of a ninja to complete the mission? As if hearing an unbelievable answer, the Hyuga clan elder's eyes changed and he scolded him harshly. The loss of bloodline limit is your Hyuga clan's family affair, and has nothing to do with me. My mission is to rescue Konoha Shinobi who fell into the hands of Mist Shinobi. Other things have nothing to do with me. First of all, I have the right to choose the mission and join the battlefield. This is the promise of the third Hokage. Secondly, I am a member of the Uchiha clan. The orders of the Hyuga clan are useless to me. At this point, Waiyu felt something in her heart and frowned and shouted. Since you are here, why are you hiding and watching the show? That's why I hate you, teacher. Hehe, I haven't been in the village for some time. I just heard a very interesting news. Did the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan fall into the hands of Mist Shinobi? When the thin figure appeared from the dark, the Hyuga family elder and the current head of the family, Hyuga Hiyashi, also nodded and greeted, with fear in their eyes. Master Orochimaru, you are here. Could it be that this child is? I am an impolite but very outstanding disciple. I wanted to ask you if you would like to go to the outside world to practice with me. Now it seems that it is a pity, haha. With a twitch in the corner of her mouth, Waiyu glanced at Orochimaru with disdain and said sarcastically. It is all thanks to you that I have lost my leisure time in the past few days. It is too much, Master Orochimaru. Have you noticed it too? Master Sarutobi seems to be as energetic as the young people. Since you have a mission, I can only take Anko to practice with me. Do you need a gift? With a smile, Orochimaru brought a gift to himself, which was not a trouble. Then I will not have any expectations for a while. Please don't throw the trouble to me again. Then I will set off. Just as Waiyu's figure was about to disappear, Hyuga Hazashi froze, and the doubts in his eyes became more intense. What do you want to become? Broken wings, imprisoned in a cage, lonely bird, or a star burning with blood and fire, tearing the night with fangs and blood? Single quote. You don't need to give me an answer now. When you figure it out, you are welcome to come to me at any time. Single quote. At some point, the mysterious figure disappeared quietly, and the Hyuga family elder was even more shocked. He had not stopped rolling his eyes just now, but disappeared in an instant. Can a child really master this level of instant body technique? Orochimaru, is this child from the Uchiha family really your disciple? Faced with Hyuga Hiyashi's question, Orochimaru smiled, and the stiff facial lines softened a lot. This child is very mysterious. Even I can't see through his talents. Maybe, he has surpassed me. Without waiting for a few people to exclaim, Orochimaru's figure gradually went away. Hisashi lowered his eyes, and a trace of imperceptible hope rose in his heart. At the gate of Konoha village, Waiyu looked up at the sky and silently looked at her hands. It's a rare opportunity, so let's try it. The mist thickened and became hazy, covering the few rays of sunlight. At the border of the land of water, near a deserted island, a boy in Konoha shinobi costume led the way and finally stopped. Senior Kazuki, I can only send you here. The next thing can only be left to you, please. Bowing slightly, Uchiha Shisui looked at the seniors in front of him who were also from the Uchiha clan. They were all Uchiha, but they were not famous for Sharingan. It was strange. Shisui, you were able to escape from the fourth Mizukage. Did you really use that? The eye technique of Mangekyo Sharingan. His pupils trembled, and Shisui looked at Kazuki in disbelief, with a lot on his mind. How did he find out? Why did he find out that he had opened the Mangekyo Sharingan and the twisted power obtained by the sacrifice of his best friend? Could it be? It seems to be true, the ability is biased towards illusion. Apart from the Mangekyo Sharingan's eye technique, I really can't think of anything that can quietly change the other party's mind. What is the name of the eye technique? Realizing that he was deceived, Shisui smiled helplessly and chose to confess. Distinguished heavenly gods, this is the eye technique that resides in my eyes, the Mangekyo Sharingan, which can make the other party think that it is an eye technique that changes the other party's will under their own instinctive choice. I wanted the fourth Mizukage to release us all, but this decision would be recognized by Mist Shinobi at a glance. The leader of my village was under an illusion, so I can only start with the topic they care about. The ninja swords of the 7 ninja swordsmen and the instant body illusion. Seeing the apology in Shisui's eyes, Waiyu pulled the corner of her mouth and laughed heartily. You are such a troublemaker, Junior. So be it. When I need your help, don't refuse. Goodbye. Disappeared in an instant, Shisui subconsciously opened the Sharingan and looked around. Seeing that there was no trace of chakra around, he was even more surprised. Disappeared in an instant. This is the Flying Thunder God technique, the Flying Thunder God technique of Flying Thunder God Moon. It is not like me, the Flying Thunder God technique made with Sharingan, but the real space-time ninjutsu. Shisui turned his eyes and saw the mist in the distance, which was endless. I don't know how many Kurigaker ninjas are lying in ambush in it. Is the Flying Thunder God technique of Flying Thunder God Moon also the eye technique of Mangekyo? What kind of eye technique is it? Despite his curiosity, Shisui still stayed where he was, waiting for Waiyu to rescue all the hostages. At the same time, in the thick fog where one could not see one's hand in front of one's face, the deep purple immortal mask quietly emerged, and the strange white mist scattered and mixed with the water mist. In the center of the isolated island, many knocked-out Konoha shinobi were tied together in groups of 3 or 2, and each of them had at least several detonating talismans on their bodies. Mist shinobi ninjas were fully armed, surrounding many hostages, waiting for the arrival of the enemy. I say, will that guy, Shunshin Genjutsu, really come? He clearly knew that this was a trap, how could he be such a fool to come here? It's hard to say, the other party is a being that can defeat the 7 ninja swordsmen, and maybe he will rely on his strong ninjutsu and come here to die. Ha ha ha, if that guy dares to come, let him see the Mist Shinobi formation, but there won't be any idiots coming here to die, right? Before he finished speaking, a figure walked out of the thick fog, wearing black clothes and a black robe, a 3-eyed demon fox mask on his head, and a cloak behind him that moved without wind. That mask, that symbol, that's him. Flickering Genjutsu, I didn't expect the rumors to be true. Flickering Genjutsu, the guy who killed countless ninjas of Mist Shinobi, is actually a teenager. Fool, no matter how talented the young ninja is, he will eventually become history after today. It is our duty to let this guy sleep in the water and feed the sharks. A pair of malicious eyes swept over the gradually approaching figure, and Waiyu strolled leisurely, as if entering an empty space. Where are the hostages? Fourth Mizukage, where are the 2 7 ninja swordsmen who escaped from my hands? Looking around, as if everything was so natural, Yu spoke in a calm tone, waiting for the other party's reply. Arrogant kid, who do you think you are? How dare you use this tone? Many ninjas rushed up and surrounded Yu, each with a cruel look, as if they were going to cut Yu into pieces directly. Kill him. No, it's too easy for him. Torture him to get the Flying Thunder God technique. This guy is from the Uchiha clan. He should have opened the Sharingan. Dig out his eyes and eye shafts directly. Everyone regarded him as a mortal enemy. Even before Yu died, they were planning to get the spoils from him, as if they were determined to win. However, Yu didn't even look at him. She turned her head and looked at the camp where many hostages gathered, with an indifferent tone. Come out, Biwa Juzo, Zigwashan Puffer Ghost, and 4th Mizukage. I didn't expect that the 7 ninja swordsmen who escaped from my hands were you too. That day, Yu was eager to treat Might Dai and had no time to investigate the life and death of the body. She just hurriedly took away the 7 ninja swords. Unexpectedly, there was still a fish that slipped through the net. Uchiha kid, thank you for your care that day. My wound is still aching. It's all thanks to you. The watermelon mountain pufferfish demon appeared in the thick fog, with its ferocious shark teeth flashing coldly. It stared at Yu's every move, not daring to be careless. Be careful, this guy's instant body technique is really tricky. Lousy doesn't want to lose a few more teeth. During the conversation, Biwa Juzo followed closely behind, constantly waving the ordinary ninja sword in his hand, and seemed very dissatisfied with the weight of the weapon in his hand. I didn't expect that the instant body illusion that has become famous in the recent war turned out to be a kid. The 4th Mizukage Yagura slowly appeared, which surprised Yu for a moment, and then laughed and joked. What? You have a face like a brat, and you are still qualified to criticize others. Don't joke, I will destroy you and the hostages together, or agree to negotiate, it's up to you. Hanazuki's words seemed to mention a taboo that could not be mentioned, and the 4th Mizukage, who was originally calm and composed, gnashed his teeth instantly. What nonsense are you talking about? I have a wife and a son, not a brat. You Uchiha brat, if you want us to release them, you can commit suicide in front of us. Hanazuki shook his head helplessly and muttered to himself. If the negotiations fail, then you can accompany them and dance together on the Nahi Bridge, Sage Art Big Spiral Wheel U. Be careful with this technique. Water-style water mirror technique. Pure white shone, swallowing the thick fog and the isolated island. In a trance, Yagura felt that he was lingering with some inexplicable sense of disobedience, but then he was shocked by the figure that penetrated the sky and the earth. What is going on? What on earth is going on? Nara Shikaku, who woke up from his coma, gasped, and many captured Konoha shinobi were even more amazed. The ropes and detonating tags that bound their movements were all removed. They looked at the figure in the thick fog in disbelief, and felt that their worldview had been hit unprecedentedly. What's going on? Isn't that the 4th Mizukage? And over there, why are mist shinobis Zigwashan Puffergui and Biwa Juzo standing there motionless? Are they under an illusion? In the thick fog, dozens of mist shinobi ninjas were motionless, their pupils were dilated, and they couldn't even notice that many hostages had been rescued. It's really embarrassing, Mr. Shikaku, now is not the time to be surprised, the number of hostages doesn't match, see who is missing. Until then, Nara Shikaku woke up and hurriedly confirmed the safety of many Konoha shinobi, his face became very ugly. Inazuka Ja, Akamaiki Kaide, they are not here. I'm afraid they have been imprisoned in other secret places by mist shinobi. Uchiha Kagetsu, we. This has nothing to do with you, Mr. Shikaku. From the moment you were captured by mist shinobi, your original position on the battlefield also disappeared. After these words, Nara Shikaku fell into silence and could not speak for a long time. So that's how it is. Even we are considered to be a drag. I see. Please rescue Konoha's companions. Please. Before Nara Shikaku looked up, he felt a flash in front of his eyes. The originally humid and unbearable camp suddenly changed. The huge door that came into view had become the gate of Konoha village without knowing when. What is this? The village. We are back. Aren't we at the border of the land of water? Why suddenly? The instant body technique. There is no mistake. This is the instant body technique. It is the instant body technique of Lord Namikaze Minato. Why does that Uchiha child know the instant body technique? Lord Shikaku. Who is that child? That ninja from the Uchiha clan. After hearing this, everyone involuntarily cast their eyes on Nara Shikaku, their eyes full of curiosity and surprise. A group of Konoha shinobi talked about it. Nara Shikaku straightened his back, thought for a while, and gave his answer hesitantly. Uchiha Keigetsu, a genius who can be compared with Namikaze Minato, is the youngest Jonin in Konoha. Like Lord Minato, he is a talented boy who made great achievements in the Battle of Kikyo Mountain. In addition, I heard that he is also a disciple of Lord Orochimaru. I am afraid that he was able to come to the rescue this time because of the 7 ninja swordsmen who were killed by Uchiha Keigetsu. In short, I can't see the boy clearly, and I don't know what he is hiding, but as a companion, he is the kind of person who can make people feel at ease once he appears. Many Konoha shinobi heard Shikaku's evaluation of Uchiha Keigetsu and felt it was unbelievable. You know, Nara Shikaku is the patriarch of the Nara clan and is also known as the best Jonin in Konoha. Really? That arrogant-looking brat, is he worthy of such an evaluation from Lord Shikaku? The evidence is the Konoha village where we are now. We teleported from the border of the land of water to the land of fire. This level of space-time ninjutsu, I am afraid that only Minato in Konoha village can compete with Uchiha Keigetsu. We are the living proof. Now there is no other way but to believe in his power, the power of Uchiha Keigetsu. Many Konoha shinobi looked at each other, and finally could only believe in Nara Shikaku's judgment. Is he back already? Uchiha Keigetsu's movements are really extremely fast, worthy of being called the flickering genjutsu. An old and powerful voice sounded, and everyone turned their heads to look, and bowed their heads together. Hokage-sama. No need to be polite. I want to hear your opinion on this sudden incident in Uchiha Keigetsu, Shikaku. With wisps of smoke lingering, Sarutobi Hiruzen lowered his bamboo hat, and Nara Shikaku was terrified as soon as he spoke. I'm sorry, I am willing to take full responsibility for this mistake. No, that's not what I meant. The main responsibility for the mistake is not on you. I just want to know how you returned safely in just 48 hours. Has Uchiha Keigetsu's instant body technique become stronger than Minato? What kind of talent is this? He can't be affected by Orochimaru's dangerous thoughts. Guessing something vaguely, Nara Shikaku nodded slightly, turned around and followed Sarutobi Hiruzen to the Hokage office building. 2 flowers bloom, each showing its own beauty. In a valley close to the Bear Country, mist shinobi ninjas fell into a dream and couldn't extricate themselves for a long time. Dressed in blackened robes, with the Kusanagi sword on her back, Keigetsu glanced around and nodded slightly. Sage art transformation. As long as you breathe the natural energy in the mist, you will inevitably fall into illusions. The sage mode of Raichi Cave is indeed more inclined to perception and illusion. Swaggering and entering an empty space, Keigetsu rescued many Konoha shinobi trapped in illusions and quickly teleported back to the entrance of Konoha village. After confirming that there were no omissions, Keigetsu made seals with both hands. Shadow Clone Technique, Release. At the same time, at the border of the land of water, in front of the 4th Mizukage. Looking at the 4th Mizukage in front of her with delicate and complex eyes, Keigetsu fell into deep thought. Even though he has a baby face, he even has a son. Even though he is a Jinchuriki, he is controlled by Mangekyo's eye technique. He tried his best to govern the village all his life, but the final outcome was that the 3 tails ran away directly after losing control, and he couldn't even control the tailed beasts. Having spent the last half of his life in a muddle, indirectly causing the rebellion of the 2nd generation 7 ninja swordsmen, some died, and some died. Mist Shinobi was able to recuperate in the next 10 years and not form an alliance with other powers. This was indeed a great contribution. Tisk tisk tisk, since you are so miserable, let me help you. There is only one chance, you must seize it, Kyoku Suigetsu. The mist gradually dissipated, and the 4th Mizukage, who was in a daze, regained consciousness and turned around subconsciously to look behind. The Konoha shinobi who was originally imprisoned by Mist Shinobi was now deserted, and the detonating talismans covered with ritual traps were also scattered all over the ground. Is it an illusion? When? Sharingan's illusion. No, that kid doesn't have it at all. Could it be? Looking around, the fourth Mizukage had a cold face and swung the weapon in his hand violently. Wind style once the typhoon has passed. The strong wind blew, instantly dispersing the thin illusion mist, and many mist shinobi ninjas who were blinded by the illusion woke up. What's going on? Haven't I been promoted to Jonin and married with concubines based on my military exploits? Why? That brat should have been kneeling in front of me. Is it an illusion? I fell into the trap of that brat from the beginning, and I was instantly in the illusion of the moon. Where is that guy? Who knows? I'm lucky to have a life. Fortunately, I didn't call Ching over in advance, otherwise the Byakugan that I won with great difficulty would be taken back by the ninjas of Konoha. Speaking of this, Yagura gnashed his teeth in hatred. He was the fourth Mizukage, but he was actually caught by a little devil's illusion. If this battle spreads, how can he gain a foothold in the Blood Mist village and maintain the will of the third Mizukage? At the same time, on the edge of the water country, there is a village covered with snow all year round. The diligent and kind man with patches all over his body is smiling and full of energy, ready to supplement his one-year-old child with some nutrition. In the dilapidated hut, looking at the child in her arms, the pretty woman is full of worries, and there is a lot of worry between her eyebrows. Will this child also inherit? No, don't inherit that power, bye. Bang. The door opened, the wind and snow were like knives, the black cloak rustled, and the woman protected the child in her arms behind her. Who are you? A ninja. Is it this child? I may trouble you to sleep for a while. I need to modify the fate of the child a little bit. The exquisite and complex Mangekyo changed rapidly, making the woman who looked at it distracted and unable to extricate herself from the illusion. Let me witness your ability. Bloom, Kyoka Suigetsu. At some point, the invisible power in the Book of Vermilion Moon turned into a barrier, wrapping the entire hut. The clear blue light fell from the ancient bamboo scroll in his hand onto the child's body, and finally dissipated into the invisible. Countless natural energies poured into the Book of Vermilion Moon, making the natural energy here turbulent, as if filling an unknown gap. For a long time, Yu looked around, up and down, with a face full of suspicion. Is this the end? What happened? After a moment of silence, Yu stepped forward and picked up the child. After a little perception, the whole person suddenly froze in place. This child is, wait, I remember that she should be him just now. Could it be that the ability of the Book of Vermilion Moon is? The whole person was struck by lightning. Until Yu left, the picture in his mind still stayed on that scene, unable to extricate himself for a long time. He became her. What is going on? And there is this feeling. The water surface is blue, emitting a clear blue light. In the inner world, the skinny black Nine-Tails is full of anger, and his eyes, which are as big as a carriage, stare at Yu viciously. Uchiha brat, what on earth did you do? What happened to that power just now? Why did you suck away so much of my chakra? Do you want to destroy this world? Stop talking so much. How should I know? I just opened the barrier of the Book of Vermilion Moon and changed some established facts. Who knows, it will consume your chakra. The fox, with his hair standing up, roared immediately. I knew it must have something to do with you, brat. Do you know how it feels to be induced to vomit when you don't want to? There are little devils on the left and right. I'm so annoyed. You want to cause trouble, orange pig. You evil little devil, I'm going to let you see what real fear is today. Tailed beast bomb. 3 minutes later, the bruised black Nine-Tails looked very strange after hearing this. You, not only did you send my chakra to a strange place, but you also turned others into women. This is, oh, right, a cultivation game. Countless potato chips as big as carriages made a crisp, crunching sound when chewed by sharp teeth, and from time to time accompanied by the gurgling happy water. The skinny body of black Nine-Tails gradually became plump. If you don't speak, no one will think you're dumb. You can't even stop eating. I just wanted to try it. Who knew he would turn into her? This thing, the ability of the Book of Vermilion Moon, is definitely not that simple. With a flickering look in his eyes, he consumed nearly half of Nine-Tails' chakra, causing the natural energy around the village to go into chaos. The effect was indeed amazing. Until now, Yu has not recovered. Ah, yes, I believe that you will never be shaken by beauty. You use pupil techniques to make women's underwear and are interested in women older than you. You are a cold and ruthless ninja, wahahaha. Halfway through, Black Nine Tails couldn't hold it back and couldn't help laughing. The fox tail behind him shook wildly. If you say another word, I will use the Book of Vermilion Moon to turn you into a female fox. I want to see if you can still laugh. The laughter stopped abruptly. Black Nine Tails was alert and subconsciously stepped back a few steps. It was really a little scared to use this trick to threaten it. After regaining control of her body, Kagetsu looked into the distance, and the chakra mark on the child was clearly visible. No matter how fierce the war is, it will eventually die out as the fuel disappears. Is this war about to end? On the other hand, in Konoha village, Minato, this matter is left to you. You must lead him to the right path, please. In the Hokage's office, Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke solemnly, but Namikaze Minato was very confused. Uchiha Kagetsu. Isn't this child a disciple of Orochimaru? Why do I have to teach him? With his eyes lowered, Sarutobi Hiruzen really didn't want to doubt his favorite student, but anyway, I'll leave the matter to you. I'll talk to Orochimaru. He can help you a lot with you. Thinking of the fearless and scornful boy when they first met, Namikaze Minato felt a headache. This problem seemed to be more difficult than he thought. Yes, I know. Does he come back when I mentioned him? This mission was also successfully completed. Uchiha Kagetsu is really an excellent child, but he is still a long way from being an excellent ninja. Sarutobi Hiruzen's exclamation made Namikaze Minato smile. The figure in the crystal ball followed several captured Konoha shinobi and looked up at the crystal ball from time to time. What a sharp kid, maybe this will be interesting. At the same time, Kazuki, who found herself being spied on by a telescope, twitched her lips and complained inwardly. By the way, the third Hokage, the old pervert, also often uses this trick to spy on the hot spring baths. It's not impossible. Single quote. My mind was full of thoughts, and when I looked back inadvertently, a strange smile appeared at the corner of my mouth. Hey, Kakashi-senpai, you got a good eye. At the gate of Konoha village, the pen-tip paused slightly. Kakashi turned his head and looked. The position of his left eye had been covered by the forehead protector. Beside him, when Nohara Lin heard Kagetsu's voice, she wanted to say hello with a smile, but when she heard, good eyes, her expression suddenly dimmed. Kagetsu, this is not Kakashi, but Obito. What a pity, Uchiha Obito. His eyes contain powerful talents, and I can see talents more accurately than anyone else. Cherish the treasure in your left eye. Also, don't regret it after you lose it, Kakashi Sr., whether it's Obito or. The meaningful words made Kakashi recall the inexplicable look of Uchiha Kagetsu on the day he went to the land of grass. This is Obito's will. I will not hesitate to see the arrival of peace with his eyes. I will not lose it again, and I will not regret it. This is my quote. Kakashi's eyes were like a pool of stagnant water. Under the mask, no expression could be seen. It seemed that he was talking about a trivial matter, and the same was true for his life. Let's stop chatting here. Next, I have to hand over the task. I will go first. Seeing this, several ninjas who stopped to watch hurried to the Hokage office building to prepare for the report. Nohara Lin looked at the back of the black-clothed black robe, and her heart was even more complicated. In the sun, Wyu, who left the Hokage office building, looked up at the sky and sighed about life. Little money, much work, far from home, no holidays all year round. One day I will change this world. I will climb to the top step by step. I want to do. His shoulders sank, interrupting Wyu's ambitions. He turned his head and found that the two watermelon heads were shining black under the refraction of the sun. Long time no see, Captain. You are still as energetic as ever. Today is a good time to burn your youth. Might Dai laughed loudly. The bandages wrapped in the green tights could not stop the enthusiasm of youth at all. Might Guy beside him also nodded. His eyes fell on the cold figure behind Wyu who was slowly approaching. Oh, my eternal opponent, let's have a fight today. Win or lose. He rushed out in an instant, entangled tightly around Kakashi. Might Guy's blood boiled, and gradually disappeared at the end of his sight. Still as passionate as ever, Dai, your son is just like you, how is his injury? Tilting his head slightly, Wyu took off the demon fox mask and asked with a smile. Thank you for your concern. If you hadn't seen through the chakra points of the 8 inner gates in time and suppressed those chakras, my body would have been burned to ashes by the overheating heat. This is what Lord Nono told me. Might Dai was full of emotion. He had originally opened the 8 inner gates with the determination to die, but he was lucky enough to save his life. This was really a blessing. You're welcome. I have received the reward and I am quite satisfied. Live well and watch the day when your child becomes a Jonin. Waving his hand behind him, Yu turned and left. Although he saved his life, Might Dai, who was unable to live as a ninja because his chakra meridians were severely damaged, still maintained a bright smile. Oh. Thank you, Captain. The heroic spring has passed, and the next is the hot summer. You must work hard on the mission. Hot summer. This is not suitable for me. Character sign in. Might Dai. Possessing ability. 8 inner gates. Successful sign in. Get 8 inner gates formation today. I have received the reward. Where should I go to fish next? Excuse me, Kazuki, do you have anything to do next? If not, can you walk with me? You and Obito are friends, right? Kazuki, who was planning to go to the entertainment street outside Konoha village, turned around and saw Nohara Rin, who had hurriedly caught up with her, with a serious face and a firm tone. I want to know more about Obito, please. Looking at Nohara Rin, who looked determined and seemed to be ready to die, Kazuki looked around and finally locked on a certain direction. I know, then trouble you to treat me, I will try my best to tell you about Obito. Rin looked up and saw the Ichiraku ramen not far away exuding an attractive aroma. She hurriedly took out her wallet and finally nodded solemnly. After a while, 2 bowls of steaming ramen appeared. Sorry for the wait. Special seafood ramen and pork bone ramen. Please enjoy. The uncle of Ichiraku ramen greeted other customers again. Hanazuki, who was about to enjoy the food, felt the eyes beside her were extremely surprised. Turning around, she saw Nohara Rin's cheeks flushed by the heat of the ramen. Hanazuki was thoughtful and remembered that she seemed to have never seen her true face. Well, let's get to the point. Uchiha Obito, to be honest, I don't know him more than you do, but because we are both orphans and our families are relatively close, it is inevitable that we will have some intersections. Speaking of which, on that rainy day, that guy rushed out happily and rushed to my house in a daze. I think he should have confessed to you, ha 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 ha. The laughter gradually faded, Nohara Rin couldn't help but lower her head, tears rolling down. Uncle Ichiraku on the side saw this and subconsciously stared at Hanazuki with a suspicious face. He looked suspicious, as if he was cheating on his girlfriend and was discovered by her real girlfriend. That day, I rejected Obito with encouragement and said that I liked Kakashi-senpai, right? The crying stopped abruptly. Lin was shocked, with a hint of curiosity and inexplicable shyness. Did Obito even tell Kazuki this? No. This is a reasonable inference based on your personality. In addition, you called Kakashi Kakashi as soon as you entered the door. Isn't it obvious at a glance? His sparse eyebrows, fresh smile, and inexplicable sense of security made Lin subconsciously think that she seemed to be facing the gentle Minato teacher, but that young face looked more like Kakashi. Kazuki, can your eyes see through people's hearts? It's just that you are too easy to be seen through. It's not a good habit to write your mood on your face. Don't do this during the mission. Thank you for your hospitality. Goodbye. Huh. Lin was stunned for a moment, looking at the empty ramen bowl beside her, and couldn't help but exclaimed. So fast. When did you finish eating? And this kind of reassuring temperament is. Suddenly, she felt her shoulders sink, and Lin looked up blankly, and a familiar pretty face came into her eyes, with a hint of concern. Lin, are you okay? I have heard from teacher Orochimaru about Obito, are you okay? It's okay, it's already happened. Whether you want to admit it or not, Obito sacrificed for us in the village. He is a hero. With tears still on his face, Rin Nohara smiled and asked jokingly. What about you? You must have learned very strong ninjutsu by following the legendary Sannin. I'll ask you to protect me, Anko. Wahahaha, I, Anko, have learned very powerful ninjutsu from teacher Orochimaru. Protecting you is a piece of cake. Anko, who was about to sit down, looked at the ramen bowl beside him. A trace of suspicion flashed in his eyes. He subconsciously sniffed hard. A hint of the fragrance of plants that was about to dissipate immediately attracted Anko's attention. Hey, Rin, just now, the guy sitting in this seat, is it Uchiha Kagetsu? Yes, because I want to ask Kagetsu about Obito, so. Bang! Lin jumped up like a frightened rabbit, and saw Anko gnashing his teeth, with a sense of helplessness between his eyebrows. That guy, I don't know whether to say he is a blockhead or a. He looks at me as if I were a fool, and keeps perfunctorily answering me. I don't understand what that is thinking. Calm down, Anko, calm down. At this moment, Lin couldn't help but recall that gentle smiling face in her mind, and looked at the face full of worries, thinking. Can you tell at a glance? Two flowers bloom, each showing its own beauty. Deep underground in the mountain cemetery, inside a hidden secret room blocked by rocks. Obito, who is desperately recovering, is full of expectations, hope and imagination, as if he can't wait to return to the village. Wait. Sharingan needs to be gathered in pairs to exert its true power. As long as Kakashi and I join forces, we can protect the village, everyone, and Lin. You must wait for me, Kakashi. Single quote. The fighting spirit in his eyes never disappeared. Obito actively moved his muscles that had atrophied due to lying in bed, but the words of the strange old man rang in his ears again. It's useless. If you don't cut off the chain of hatred, even if you can leave, everything will be in vain. The hatred of ninjas will not stop with the end of the war. With countless sacrifices, a new round of hatred chains will inevitably circulate. Obito shook his head helplessly. This strange old man who claimed to be Uchiha Madara was saying these incomprehensible words again. Besides, he knew all the old men and women of the Uchiha clan. The guy in front of him was most likely a rebel ninja from Konoha. Although he relied on him to survive, sooner or later he would return to Konoha. Although he could not repay the other party's life-saving grace, which made him feel very guilty, he still returned to his companions to make himself feel at ease. The guilt in his heart and the desire to leave could not hide from Uchiha Madara's eyes. Although his body was old and he was heading for death twice, his eyes that saw through the darkness were still bright. In the middle of the night, everything was silent, and a new white Zetsu emerged from the ground. Madara-sama, Uchiha Kagetsu has returned to Konoha village, what should we do? Cough cough cough. The old body, the cloudy and weak eyes, Madara, like a candle in the wind, was silent for a long time, and there was no sound for a while, and then he murmured in a low voice after a long time. It's just a pair of self-enclosed eyes. Although there are occasionally such low probability ghosts, the difference between them and my real eyes is comparable to the gap between heaven and earth, not even half of mine. Unfortunately, more than 100 years in history have left me with only a lingering breath, but this is only a temporary silence. When I wake up from my long sleep, it will all end. Speaking of excitement, Uchiha Madara coughed, and his old figure could not support the insignificant ambition of true peace in his eyes. The era of ninjas will end with my own hands. Speaking of excitement, veins popped out from his old arms that were as thin as dead branches, and the ancestral. No, the Uchiha laughter that started with Madara appeared again. Yes, Lord Madara, in addition to Uchiha Kagetsu, we also found out that this guy's most important and cherished children and opponents, Nohara Rin and Hitaki Kakashi. Quote. At the same time, in Konoha village, until the latest dumpling shop in Konoha village closed, Rin looked at Anko with a worried face, who was eating hundreds of skewers of various meatballs and drinking Anko soup during the period. She was shocked and speechless. That it's okay to be perfunctory to Orochimaru teacher, but he's also perfunctory to me, and he doesn't even think about who is his first friend, who took the initiative to take him to skip class when he was criticized by the teacher. Anko was still chattering, but Lin was embarrassed and subconsciously looked up at the sky. You will definitely be scolded for going home so late, but Anko is like this, it's a bit too. Well, Anko, it's getting late, and our class has a task tomorrow. I'm very sorry, I'm leaving first. It wasn't until Lin ran into the corner without looking back that Anko, who was stunned, reacted and stomped his feet and shouted. Unfaithful guy. Is this how you treat your best friends? One or two are like this. Well, what's wrong with going home? Anyway, there's no one. The moonlight was hazy and the stars were bright. Unconsciously, Anko wandered aimlessly on the street. When she raised her head again, the abandoned flower moon without anyone taking care of it was overgrown with weeds. This is. Standing in front of the door, Enko hesitated for a long time and slowly pushed the door open. The slightly old wooden door was not locked. In the entrance hall, looking at the end, the dim candlelight in the living room made her curious. It's so late, is that guy still awake? Single quote. The shadow behind the door and the transparent ribbon hidden in the dark approached quietly, and Enko was frightened. He raised his right hand and the pythons flew like swords. Shadow snake hand. Nine-faced Subaha goddess. After a moment of confrontation, Enko, who was tied up like a dumpling, was thrown to the floor by the goddess. Just as she was about to use the rope-breaking technique to break free, a familiar voice interrupted Enko's action. Really? I thought it was a bug from Anbu or the police force, but it turned out to be a little snake that likes Enko's soup and meatballs. Even you should at least respect personal privacy. How many times have I told you to ring the doorbell when you enter the house? Shut up. Asshole Yu, you have already noticed that I am here, right? And, I don't want to hear that. Enko argued with reason, his clear brown eyes were slightly disappointed, and when he looked up, he saw the handsome face with a hint of teasing and smiling. Really? Well, welcome back, Enko, do you want to eat first? Or take a shower first? Or, wait, what do you want to do? No, I'm wrong, no. Quote. In the early morning, the morning light was scattered and the stars were twinkling. Enko was sleepy, her eyelashes were trembling slightly, and her slightly red face was filled with unprecedented peace of mind. The fragrance of plants and trees lingering in her nose, the soft and comfortable big bed, made her subconsciously forget her troubles and relive the high-quality sleep in those theoretical classes of the ninja school that she couldn't understand. Wait, I always feel that I have forgotten something, this doesn't seem to be my home. At this moment, Enko suddenly woke up from her dream, subconsciously looked around, and finally looked at the familiar voice beside her. Her mouth moved slightly, and asked in a trembling voice. What are you looking at? Well, the scenery that is about to mature and immature may become one of the most beautiful scenery in the world, he. Subconsciously pulling the quilt to herself, Enko was full of suspicion, and felt a little headache. After burying her head in the quilt and looking at it, she asked without showing her head. What happened? What happened? In this short midnight, many unforgettable memories occurred, and I also tasted the immature beauty and immature scenes of youth. Before Yu spoke again, Enko in the quilt froze for a moment, ashamed and angry. Who told you to say so much? Pay the price for me, shadow snake hand. 4 brown and black pythons suddenly shot out, and before Yu was tied up, the following words immediately made several small snakes droop weakly. Didn't you say that you would rather take responsibility than give me up? I didn't expect that Enko, who always likes desserts, has no resistance to chocolate with liquor, he. Hearing this, Enko felt a headache, and then remembered that he seemed to have eaten something extraordinary last night, and then completely lost his memory. In a trance, his face was like fire, and he grabbed Uchiha Yu's collar and said something shameful, and then, rolled together. Wait. Chocolate with liquor filling, why do you have such a thing in your house? After revealing his head, Enko couldn't help but glare at him, grinning, as if he wanted to bite Yu to death. Are you talking about chocolate with liquor filling? It's a gift from Hong to celebrate my official becoming a Jonin. Didn't you also send me 3 color dumplings that day? After hearing what Yu said, Enko also remembered that the guy in front of him had become the only one of the 2 Jonin among their batch of ninja students. The other one was the senior who was 2 years older than them, Hitaki Kakashi, the hero of Konoha, the son of White Fang. I see, then I can't let him go. Hong, why did you send chocolate with liquor filling for no reason, an outlier among desserts, it hurt me. Gnashing his teeth, Enko stared at the handsome face that seemed to be smiling but not smiling, with a lazy expression. The sun was shining, and a little light shone on the prickly little face. Enko's chest kept rising and falling, and he finally made up his mind. I've fallen into your hands, so forget it. I, Enko, will take responsibility for it. From today on, you are my man. If you dare to attract other men again, I will cry for you to see. Realizing that she may not be able to beat the other party, and there is no way to stop him, Enko could only grin and say her threats that were not threats at all. Really? Then you can only cry for the rest of your life. Do I need you to lend me a hug? You. Pervert, philanderer. Leaning on that not-so-broad chest, gently sniffing the reassuring breath, Enko wanted to sleep for a while, with a lazy look and charming manner. Why you couldn't help but sigh that the expression revealed inadvertently was the strongest weapon to seduce men to commit crimes. Unfortunately, it can only be seen but not eaten. Why you didn't want to bear the name of the Dragon King and spread throughout the ninja world. Days passed, and Orochimaru chose to stop after being warned by Sarutobi Hiruzen, but no one knew what he was planning in secret, not even Danzo. With the supply cut off near the Kanabi Bridge by the land of the earth, the successive defeats of Mist Shinobi, and Orochimaru's restraint on the surface, the Third Ninja World War gradually came to an end. However, small-scale battlefield conflicts continue, not only between Konoha and other ninja villages, but also between other ninja villages, making the entire 5 major countries in a relatively stable state. Anbu. Root. The intelligence collected by the Root Anbu was placed on Danzo's desk one by one. After Danzo flipped through them one by one, his long-term ninja vision made him notice a trivial movement in the Rain country. Akatsuki. An organization established by a few young people. Want to bring peace to Rain Shinobi Village. His eyes flickered. A mercenary organization of this level was just a small fight of little brats in the eyes of the 5 major ninja countries, but as the root of Konoha, any existence that could threaten the interests of the major countries was the target of reconnaissance. After pondering for a moment, Danzo marked the document with noteworthy intelligence, looked up and looked around, his eyes drooped, and his expression flickered. There are many good players in the route, but because the training of ninjas often takes a lot of time, the secrecy of the route and the special nature of the mission are destined to not be as translucent as Sarutobi Hiruzen's Anbu. There is a lack of talent. If Sarutobi Hiruzen, that old stubborn man, could have dropped Uchiha Keigetsu into the route, this child's play Third Ninja World War would not have dragged on until now. Above the route headquarters, dead leaves are falling, and a little autumn wind blows away the scorching heat of summer. In the mission release hall of the Hokage office building. Not long after evacuating from the battlefield, Nohara Rin, who was helping at the Konoha hospital, was summoned to the hall and accepted the mission. The medical mission on the front line. I'm going to the front line again. Will I see someone familiar this time? It's better not to see them, after all. As a Konoha ninja, a rare medical chunin, Rin has no objection to the mission of stepping onto the battlefield. She has learned to live with the blessings of her friends, but she still doesn't want to experience the same pain. Unconsciously, Lin walked aimlessly on the path. The sky gradually darkened, and the drizzle fell on the grass leaves that refused to bend, accumulating drops of rain as big as beans, sliding down the roots and stems, moistening the land. At the edge of Konoha, near a rarely visited training ground, Lin stopped unconsciously and looked at the familiar back, with a bright smile on her hesitant face. Hanazuki. Is it Hanazuki? What are you doing here? Practicing. The voice sitting on the boat turned around, and under the familiar 3-eyed demon fox mask, a bright smile appeared. If flowers represent people, what would you be? Thanks for watching.